Baja, Mexico. This 750-mile sliver of land just south of SoCal has infinite beaches, gnarly terrain swinging from mountains to desert, and more miles of great off-road track than you could drive in a lifetime, even at the speed of a 600 horsepower racing truck. It's a wide-open wild kingdom where anything goes. And while life moves a little slower for the folks who live here, thousands of racers descend upon the peninsula every year to burn gas and haul ass in off-road endurance challenges lasting for days on end. The culture of the place and the culture of racing might seem contradictory, but the locals love it. Fuck yeah.
For whatever reason, Baja is almost like a whole nother country. It's not the U.S. I lived in the U.S. all my life since I was 6 months old till I was 38. I worked for the Kootenai National Forest, so I know the U.S. Mexico, I know, but this place, for whatever reason, Baja is different. It's a whole different place. You almost can't even say it's Mexico, and you can't say it's the U.S. either. It's different.
The Baja Peninsula plays host to more annual events than you've ever heard of. You can find sanctioned races almost every month of the year, from small town showdowns to massive multi-million-dollar spectacles. These days, the best-known races are put on by an organization called SCORE. They host the simply named Baja 1000, 500, and a few other events at the highest level of competition. But there's another big race that goes down in Baja, and the flavor's a little different. The National Off-Road Racing Association, known as NORA, was basically the first outfit to put trucks against buggies, against motorcycles, against nature on long-haul races from Tijuana toward Cabo San Lucas. In 1967, a man named Ed Perlman, his friend Don Francisco, and a bunch of other off-road nuts established the inaugural Mexican1000 off-road race. They grew the event every year until 1973, when the cost of crude oil just about doubled overnight, making it a lot harder for racers to compete. That's when Baja's governor took control of the race and gave it to a Mexican nonprofit called the Baja Sports Committee. But when they realized organizing, promoting, and executing a 1,000-mile off-road race was beyond their expertise, they hired Southern California Off-Road Racing Enterprises, aka SCORE, to administrate. In 1975, SCORE took control and have run the race ever since. In 2010, a new batch of NORA enthusiasts united to refire the Mexican1000 with a little twist on Baja racing. They were going to do it old school style, with classic trucks, bikes, and buggies. Oh, and a whole lot more fun. Today, NORA hosts an insane posse of personalities, racing everything from old school three-wheelers to jacked up American muscle cars. When the engines shut down, the margaritas start flowing, and everybody helps everybody make it to the bottom of the peninsula. More than a race, it's been called a 500 horsepower conga line to Cabo San Lucas. Some rally cars might go faster, but nobody has more fun than the NORA racers.
We're getting ready to go to a catered dinner with one of Baja's finest chefs. It's great. Enjoy. We're going to work on the truck tonight and take a little bit more time to enjoy the scenery here in Baja.
Somebody starts hosting a party every day as soon as the first car comes through the last checkpoint. But it ain't all guacamole for everybody. Most competitors are here on tight budgets and limited equipment. Old cars tend to break down after 8 hours of desert racing, and that means a lot of folks have a lot of work ahead of them, if they're even lucky enough to make it to the end of a stage.
I do have sandwich stuff. You want me to make you something?
Okay. This year, racing legend Robbie Gordon is running his scratch-built race car at the Mexican1000. He's got a full-service support staff to sort his equipment out every night. But there's a lot more people in this race like Lou, up at 2 a.m., covered in grease and harsh LED lighting, elbow deep in a race car's engine bay.
We got to the famous silt beds, and we're almost through, and what's happened at the other end? Somebody stuck, so we stopped. And I put it in reverse, trying to back up, ping, and it goes ping. So that's how the motor's gone, and that's how the tranny's gone. But I realized that...
no power steering.
Oh yeah, no power steering, and no no brake on the other side. Lost that on the first day.
Stub axle.
No, stub axle. Tore everything out. Got that fixed on the first day. Had a beautiful run the second day. Third day is turned to crap. But
We'll be there tomorrow.
we'll be going tomorrow.
Bro, I'm telling you straight up, 161 is going through the finish line. We'll get it fired up in the morning. If we push start in the morning and we gotta push that buggy through the finish line, that buggy is going to the finish line. I'll tell you, straight up. Guaranteed.
And I concur.
The Mexican 1000 is a stage rally. That means it's broken up into full-speed racing sections and transport sections to bridge gaps between raceable roads. Vehicles start one at a time, 30 seconds to a minute apart. Each machine is racing against the clock, other competitors, and about 1,200 miles of sand, dust, and treacherous terrain. In order to run a race like this, you've got to be patient, persistent, and persevering as a woodpecker in redwoods. For many competitors in the Mexican 1000, just making the final finish line is a victory worth celebrating.
About 3 years ago, my dad got into off-road racing. He saw Dust to Glory and decided this is something that he just had to do.
We got in the race car and we go out there and we went like 7 miles and the rear end exploded on us. So we're out in the desert, we're like, what is it? We're not mechanics, we're like, what? Why won't it go? So we blew up like, in a wash. All these spectators come running over. Hey man, can I work on your truck with you? We're like, work with us. Can you do it? We don't know anything. We don't know why it won't go. Oh God. So the guy's in there. He's like, you blew your rear end, and we're like, oh shit. Is that easy to fix? And he's like, no, but like all these trucks around here have the same rear end as you. So I'm walking up to the guys, can I buy your rear end? I'll pay for the rear end. I'll pay to get you back to wherever you live. I'll get your truck towed for you. And I couldn't convince anybody to do it. So, I literally was asking everybody. And so that's how we started our racing career. And that guy who helped us became a team member like for 6 years.
Wow.
He lived in Texas, and I'd fly him out to all the events because he was like so nice to us, right, for doing that and helping us out.
It's kind of just one big extended family. I mean, everybody who's involved in races stays involved in races. You go once and you're hooked, and it's so fun. Great crowd.
The 2015 Mexican 1000 ended at Cabo San Lucas, a glamorous resort town at the southern tip of the peninsula. We rolled up early in one of Robbie Gordon's personal support vehicles. But we waited for our buddies Lou and Jeff in buggy 161, those guys who were wrenching on their ride as the sun came up that morning. And we waited.
This is the place to end up living.
You didn't think it was going to make it, did you? We put another motor in it this morning. The motor we put in last night, we had problems this morning after we started it up. We didn't have it started, we couldn't start it last night.
And we waited some more.
And we watch it get dusty watching it. At the end of the race, it's time to take a bath because you're full of dust. It's a lot of fun.
Finally, just 40 minutes before the finish line closed, and seconds before the rest of us were going to give up and hit the bar, we saw it. Number 161 was coming in hot. A blur of scratched up yellow paint, the buggy came trotting through the final checkpoint of the race to drunken whoops from the crowd and fist-pumping hurrahs from their hard-worked, unpaid helpers.
Told you, man. Yeah.
They'd made it. On a high of adrenaline, emotion, and a couple shots of tequila, these guys shared an epic moment the way they'd earned it, as a team. And And that's what racing the Mexican 1000 is all about. Surviving together.
What is your name?
Power wash.
Oh my God. What time did you guys take off? Hey dude, 11:20 and we were pushing this thing out and he got to the line, the federales wouldn't let him in to check in. And they go, no, and then the NOR guys were tearing stuff down and they said, hey, he's got to come in, he's got to come in. And the federale says, no. He says, we got to get in. They finally waved him in. We were that close. We were that close. We had to put on the trailer.
Couldn't have done without those guys. Those guys did everything.
I don't know if you guys heard, but last night they fixed it and it didn't fix it right. So they had to put a new motor in today. 2 motors, 24 hours, and they're fucking here. They're freaking here at the finish line. These guys are badasses. This is what NOR is all about. Right here. And I owe them a round, so I sent my girl to get him some drinks.
You're happy, man.
I'm happy. I want to.
I'm happy you're happy.
I'm so happy. God damn it, Lou. Damn, man. We got you across. That was me telling you. We did it. I wanted you here.
I was ready.
Awesome. No, I know, man. I know. I said, come on, dude. We're ready to go. Okay, you can cry now.
You know, huh? Fuck must be a tear right, don't it?
Oh, wait, look at it. I think I got one. Yeah. Woo! Hey, these guys changed the motor twice in 24 hours.
Great, isn't it?
That's awesome.
Dedication.